South Korea's fire agency says at least 85 people are now dead after a plane caught fire at an airport in the southern city of Muan. You're looking at video captured by local media in South Korea showing the aftermath of the incident. A little earlier, I spoke with journalist Rafael Rashid in Seoul.
We know that a Jeju Air flight that departed from Bangkok early this morning landed in Muan International Airport, which is down south in the country. The aircraft was a Boeing 737 and was carrying 181 people on board, of which 175 passengers and 6 crew members. It is understood that the aircraft was trying to land this morning, but seems to have had difficulties with its landing gear. And while the investigation has just started, there seems to be a suspicion that it was maybe a bird strike that meant that the landing gear could not come down properly. The aircraft tried to land once but was unable, so did a loop and tried again. And we're seeing dramatic footage emerging of a so-called belly landing without the wheels coming down. The aircraft skid on the runway and crashed a barrier at the front, after which it exploded, and the fuselage seems to have divided in two. At the airport, they have set up a temporary morgue and they are coordinating with the local hospitals in case of any further casualties or people rescued. The acting president, Choi Sang-mok, has said that he wants all resources mobilized to rescue anybody possible and is on his way to the crash site.
South Korea has seen political turmoil not seen in many decades. In fact, the new acting president is the third person to hold that position in as many weeks. We know that the political situation in the country is not stable right now. How, if in any way, have you seen this affect the rescue efforts, or have you not?
I mean, fingers crossed, this will not affect the rescue operations whatsoever. The acting president has mobilized all resources and is coordinating with the different ministries and authorities for this rescue operation. It is, of course, unfortunate that this comes at one of the worst political crises in South Korea. Mr. Choi Sang-mok has only been acting president for 2 days. He was essentially given presidential powers on Friday after he replaced a previous acting president who was replacing President Yoon Suk-yeol, who has been voted for impeachment after his failed martial law declaration on December 3rd. So while there is chaos within the political arena, so far it seems that all mechanisms have activated, as would be in any emergency situation. But of course, this will be the acting president's first emergency response and crisis that he will have to deal with literally within 2 days of assuming this new position.
As you're speaking to us, Rafael, our viewers are seeing the images from Yonhap news station in South Korea. The black plume of smoke, just the scale of the devastation and of the fire that engulfed this airplane is absolutely horrific to look at. We're also seeing the firefighters and the efforts to extinguish those flames. From what we know from the reports, those efforts have now completed, as in the flames have been extinguished, but of course the attempts to rescue whoever may be alive still, those attempts continue. Rafael, I understand from your writing in The Guardian that this was quite a new airport, that in fact this route that this airplane was flying was quite a new one. Tell us a little bit about that context.
Yeah, it's very, I mean, the images coming out are quite horrifying. And it's extremely sad, not only for what is happening right now, but Muan International Airport is a very small regional airport, and it doesn't serve too many routes. But it was the first time in 17 years that it finally reopened international routes. These routes opened earlier this month, early in December, and there were several local airlines that had participated in this relaunch, including the Muan Bangkok route, which has just been operating for the past 2-3 weeks. About, I think, 3 times a week. So there was actually a celebration earlier this month with the airline celebrating the relaunch of international routes from this airport. And unfortunately, it seems that tragedy has struck within weeks of this launch. And I think it's going to bring a big blow to the airport and maybe to the local travel industry that had been banking on this international launch of routes to boost the local tourism economy as well.
And more on that breaking news story, we do have a little bit more information on 2 people who have been rescued from the tail of the plane. We now know that those were 2 crew members, 1 man and 1 woman, who have been rescued from tail of that South Korean plane crash. Of course, we know that the firefighters and other rescue team members are working very hard to try to rescue as many people as possible of 181 occupants of that plane. We do know that they have, of course, pulled out dozens of people who were pronounced dead at the scene, but we have this information that 2 crew members who have been rescued are 1 man and 1 woman, who were both part of the crew of that Jeju Airlines airplane.